AI consulting, is it hype or is it actually a legitimate thing that you can do and make some money? There are people on both sides of this, and I want to weigh in because I recently made a video talking about how you can make $500 in a weekend with AI consulting. So that kind of tips my hand here. I think that there is some hype, but I also think it's a very viable path for a lot of people out there that are looking to make some extra money. And the reason why is that I have background in consulting. I had a consulting job outside of university, and I have made a lot of money doing different types of consulting and advising projects over the years. And in fact, learning some of the things I taught in that previous video about how to create an offer, how to find clients, how to charge for that offer, even when you aren't super experienced, has been a skill that I have used to make lots of money and support myself when times were hard, right? When things in my business weren't going as well. And so I think it's a very viable path. I think some of the hype has come in around, big players, big influencers in the space talking about AI consulting, AI transformation, and all of that. One is Grant Cardone. He did an interview where he was talking about how you make $1 million in a year by doing AI consulting. And he got some love and he got some hate on that. And there's been a lot of people, creators and people on X and YouTube talking about how you can do AI consulting for businesses and all of that. And some people say there's a tremendous opportunity, and there are people who are like, look, a plumber is not going to care about your AI agents or AI tools and things like that. And I agree. And so there's some nuance here for this, but you don't want to overthink the situation and overthink what you can do. I think this is one of the biggest problems that people run into when it comes to making money is they think they have to have, a Silicon Valley startup business, right? A new innovative idea, a groundbreaking thing in order to make money, in order to be successful. And that's just not how the real world works. When I first got out of school and, I went to a good university, I was on like not a corporate path because I didn't ever want to work in corporate. So this is why I went into consulting and worked for a management consulting firm. I was doing oil and gas, and we worked with corporations to do that. So kind of corporate, kind of not, right? It wasn't ever a 9 to 5. It was always hey, the work needs to get done, and we're working 60, 80, 100 hours a week, sometimes traveling all over for the job. So I've never actually been in that kind of, pure cog in the wheel role. And so but when I started, it was more of the formal, not pure cog in the wheel, like, McKinsey style consulting. But I think that has served me well because when I went on my own and became an entrepreneur, learning how to think outside of the box and learning to be adaptable is very, very important, and recognize the opportunities in front of you that are there, that are real, versus the opportunities that you wish were there. And stop operating from the perspective of how you think it should be, how you wish it would be, and how it is. And so with AI consulting and the stuff that I've talked about, the simplest thing is that there's a market for it, okay? People need help with stuff. And when people need help with things, there are people that need help that have money that will pay someone else to help them because they recognize the value of good advice. They recognize the opportunity that gets created. I'm just turning off my other mic here. But they recognize that, hey, I don't know something. I want to know it, and I'm willing to pay for speed. I'm willing to pay to know it in a month versus 3 months. And also because they recognize that, hey, if I don't pay for this, if I don't actually make that commitment to learn this or get someone to help me, I'm just going to keep putting it off, and I'm going to be looking back 3 months from now and not have this done while my peers or my competitors have this thing done, right? And so there's a level of FOMO, but it's also like practical and realistic for these people that have a problem and have money to pay for that solution, that they pay someone to help them. And in the category of AI, it has taken the world by storm. There's so much coming out with it. There's so many updates. There's so many things. It's almost impossible to keep up. And I'm in this stuff every single day because, again, I run my business through AI. I made that transition fully about 6 months ago and have been doing it ever since. And it's been a tremendous thing for me in my business, allowing me to do so much more, right? Things that I always needed to do, but in the past I couldn't do because either I didn't have the time, I couldn't prioritize it appropriately, or I didn't have the help, right? Because I run a lean team. I've never had this big, massive organization. And so AI has allowed me to check more of those boxes off so that I can do more with my business. I can move faster. I can increase the quality of products and services and how I offer things to my students, right? So for some of the courses, and then also my clients. And so I recognize the value of it there. Well, what happens is that people see that and they want it, okay? And when you have that, it falls into the classic marketing, saying is find a starving crowd, ask them what they want, and then give it to them. And more importantly, sell it to them, put an offer around it. A lot of times people try to manufacture demand, and that's really expensive. You're not going to do that in a short time period. And so you have to actually tap into existing demand that's out there. And thankfully, right, there's a lot of existing demand out there with AI. A buddy told me a story just on manufacturing demand about Japan and coffee. And he said that a coffee company wanted to go into Japan. Well, the problem is in Japan, they drink tea. And so there's not a market for coffee. So they would spend all this money going to market, advertising, all this kind of stuff, but it's a non-receptive market because they're fine with their tea. And so the solution that they came up with was that they're advised to do is say, hey, look, this is not a 1 to 5 year plan. This is a 10 to 15 year plan in order to create the demand in the market. Okay, 10 to 15 years, patience, and then it's expensive, right? But if you do it right, it can pay off. But for most people, right, you don't have the staying power for that. This works for big, larger companies for this type of thing. In 10 to 15 years, that's a big chunk of time to dedicate to one kind of outcome, okay? And so it's not as good for smaller businesses, right, or smaller entrepreneurs. But in this case, what they did is they sold coffee-flavored candy to kids in that country, so that by the time in Japan, so by the time the kids grew up, they had a wealth of experiences, often positive experiences, with coffee and the coffee flavor. So when the time came to for them to be adults and indulge more in that like hot beverage drinking culture, coffee became a viable alternative to tea. And of course, that opened up the market to coffee. And now you had a bunch of coffee drinkers that they could sell coffee to, right? And they were able to do that. And then coffee companies won. Okay. Well, that takes a long time. And we don't have a lot of time. And so if you are thinking about these opportunities, right now before you, there's demand for AI. There's people that are using AI for their businesses or whatnot that are just hitting their head against the wall because it doesn't do what they want. Or there's too much information, it's too overwhelming. They don't know the different tools. They don't know the difference between Claude or Codex or ChatGPT or Gemini or Perplexity or Manus or anything like that. They don't know the differences. And they don't actually have to know the differences between those if you can come in and help them. And by helping them, what you want to do is you want to solve their problems, right? So it's not like you're selling AI necessarily. You're selling solutions to their problems that you can more effectively do with AI, right? So when you're thinking about a plumbing company or a home services company or something like that, they don't care about AI. They don't care about what models are being used. They don't care about any of that stuff. They care about getting more done in less time. Okay, they care about getting more customers. They care about more satisfied customers. They care about increasing the lifetime value of their customers. They care about getting their more leads on their website. These are all things that they care about. It's typical business stuff, but can be enhanced with AI. They care about their own workflows, okay, and that they're doing, and so that they can do more. And so there's a couple opportunities here, right? The simplest one that I discussed in that other video is you can work with the head of a company, right? So maybe it's the CEO, maybe it's it can be a small business owner, right? And you can get them set up by using their own localized AI brain. Okay, so instead of them just typing into ChatGPT, the free version or like the $20 a month version, you get them to say, hey, like this is a serious tool that can enhance your output, give you more insights, and can help speed up your workflow, give you more insight into your business. Let me teach you how to do it, or let me set it up for you. So the simple thing is you get them set up with Claude Code, you get them set up with their local AI knowledge base that learns about them and their business, the structure there, and then you identify workflows and opportunities that you can either implement for them or you can teach them how to implement through their AI tool versus them just using the tool on the side, okay? And you cut down that learning curve, you speed that up. And that situation, again, what I said is that you can charge $500, 3 sessions, so 3 hours, education, setup, identifying workflows. Those are 3 sessions. Super easy. And when they walk away, right, or when that's done, you have the opportunity to sell them into implementing those services, some sort of recurring contract, building those services because you now know, right, how to do that. Or you just hand it off and you go to the next one, right? And now you're not going to get super rich and successful at just $500 a month. But what you are going to do is you're going to get your foot in the door. You're going to train yourself that, hey, yes, you can come up with an offer and there's people out there that you can sell it to, right? This is just like fundamental business. So it's not revolutionary. It's just a tool. It's just an angle that you can use because of that market demand to do this, right? It's just like, I need my grass cut. I don't have the time to cut my grass, or I don't want to allocate the time to cut my grass because my time is more valuable than what I can pay someone to cut the grass. And for a business owner, right, generally the rule of thumb is their time is worth $250 an hour plus of time, okay? And so if you're charging $250 or less for them and can cut down the learning curve from, let's say, 10 hours that would take them of dedicated time to 3 hours, that's money well spent for the savvy business owner, the person that you'd want to work with. Of course, there's going to be people that don't see the value in that, don't understand the value of their time and whatnot. They're not your clients. Don't worry about those people. The ones that do are going to be like, oh, wait, you can help me do something in 3 hours, which would have taken me 20 hours or never. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll sign that up because then at least I know more and I have this advantage now versus 2 weeks from now or potentially never, right? And so that's where I think it's viable, is to just get started. And from there, right, this is how you actually then make more money. There you start identifying, hey, what types of clients are higher value clients? What types of specific workflows can I identify that are high value workflows that you can master and you can systematize and you can scale to that client or clients and beyond? What types of offers can I give so I'm not just trading dollars or hours for dollars, but I can build systems that pay me recurring because they're consistently being used in the business. And that's where you really start making a lot more money. But unless you're already used to doing that, and if you are, right, shoot, you can use AI and you can deliver things faster to more clients for better prices or whatever your angle that you want to do, you can do that a lot better, which is what I did with my marketing business, okay? I'm able to deliver better things faster to clients, so we both make more money. I can handle more clients because of the AI tools. So that's a way that I am using that for higher end stuff. But for you just starting out, right, you get in, charge the money, learn how to deliver that offer, learn the simple things. Again, simple thing like helping them set up their Claude code, right, and set up their own like knowledge base for that. Extremely valuable. Because think about it from what they're doing currently. What they're doing currently is they're just using like the chat or like the free version or the lower end paid version, and they don't have any projects set up. They don't have any context set up. And so they're getting generic stuff. It's not integrated with any of the software platforms or tools that they use. You could solve that problem for them and super easy. So you don't even need to overthink it. And there's this window of opportunity where there's this disconnect about the capabilities that AI provides and then the knowledge and experience that people have, right? And you can help fill that gap. And that's where the opportunity is. Again, you're not going to become super rich and successful overnight just doing that. The way you do it is by then identifying the better market opportunities and putting systems in place and scaling your business. But you can't get there without actually getting started. And too many people are sitting on the sidelines, not taking action, not doing anything, thinking, oh, well, if I could build this with Claude Code just by giving a few prompts, they could do it. You're overestimating the ability and the desire of your potential target clients to actually do those same things. This is so common in business where you underestimate like how much you know and how much time and energy it took for you to get that knowledge compared to your target customers, your target avatars and things like that. Classic example in marketing is that as a marketer, you think about lead magnets. You're like, well, everyone knows about lead magnets. They're the first step. Well, the thing is, not everyone knows about lead magnets. There's so many businesses out there that you can go look in their business and they have 0 lead magnets, right? The super simple, basic, fundamental thing of getting leads and marketing, most businesses don't even have that. And so just teaching them about it, helping them get that implemented in their business, it seems so simple. It seems like anyone can do it, but it's not getting done. You can be the person that facilitates that outcome. And if it generates value, you can get paid to do it. So I think some areas of AI consulting can be potentially overhyped, but because of that, right, people are not taking action. When if you just kind of say, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna put together the offer. I'm gonna go watch the other video Dylan made. I'm gonna go join the arsenal where Dylan is going to have a lesson in there on how you can do this simple AI consulting model. And you can go to all the business owners you own and say, hey, do you need help with this? What are you currently doing with AI, right? What are the problems you're facing? What are the things you wish you could do with it? And they tell you, and you say, great, I can actually help you with that, right? Here's my offer. It's $500 and I'll get it set up and we'll get you moving towards that faster than you would before. Are you interested? Super simple. Some will say no, some will say yes. The ones that say yes, you now have your paying customers. Now you get one, go get two, go get three. Once you get a few, you can start increasing your price. You can start dialing things in. You'll be better off, they'll be better off. That's how it works. That's how you have success in business, right? You get momentum, you get the ball rolling. You don't sit on the sidelines being like, I wish I could do this. No, there's just no opportunity there, right? You make money by taking action, right? Even if it's dirty action, it's not perfect. It's not some Silicon Valley startup. You don't have a magical pitch deck. You don't have a fully built out team, right? You don't need all that stuff to actually get out there and make money in the real world. So I hope you listen to this. And if you are looking for opportunities, get educated first, join the arsenal below, and then start taking action. And the more you take action, the more opportunities will come to your mind, the more things you'll see, the more relationships you'll build, and you'll be, I can almost virtually guarantee you'll be better off doing that starting today versus waiting 3 months, 6 months, 12 months down the line for that perfect idea or perfect opportunity to come to your mind. So that's it for this one. Subscribe and follow along for more. Peace.